Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of BDUB Starts. Now, on today's show, I'm going to take the time to give special thank yous. And when I say thank yous, we're coming up on a 1 year anniversary of Wrestle Talk with Bear and B-Dub. And never could I have imagined that this show would have taken off the way it did. Having over 700 fans on Facebook and, over 50 YouTube subscribers, which I know may not be a lot, as you might see all the more popular shows out there, but it's an up and coming for, two guys who really just started off in the kitchen. Now, I know you guys have been wondering where's Bear. He is coming back. Like I said, unfortunately, the schedules got busy and, you haven't been able to deliver a show for the both of us, from the both of us. But I do thank you guys out there who have been able to support me while I've been able to keep the show going and keep the fans attached. I just want to give a special shout out. First and foremost, let me give a special shout out to Chris Custom Made Wade, who from the beginning saw something in the show and said, he wanted to be a part of it. And, a lot of times people, you don't see what he does, but he gives me a lot of insight on the business and things that could be done to improve whatnot. I also want to give a shout out to my two people who were there from the beginning and probably well before the show, and that's Stephen Williams, my best friend, and my other best friend, Brandon Guy. Brandon is the one who actually let me hold his Intercontinental title belt before for the Top Intercontinental Championships episode, and Steve has been actually featured on a couple of the episodes as we led up to WrestleMania. And next, I also want to give a special shout out to a few of the wrestlers who took the time out of their schedules to allow me to get interviews with them. I've always dreamed of being in the business, but and I respect what the guys and girls do in the ring, but fortunately, it's not my calling to be in there. But I always wanted to be a part of the professional wrestling industry in one way, shape, or form. So being able to sit back and talk to these wrestlers, it's almost like being, to me, it's the equivalent of talking to somebody who's wrestled in the WWE, WCW, TNA, or ECW, etc. So, I want to give a shout out to Ruckus, Derek Frazier, Mia Yim, Larry Legend, Bobby Moreno, Lil May, Jesse Kane, and Smith Hart, and Brittany Force. These individuals took the time out of their schedule to provide me with either a print interview or I should say face-to-face interview on camera. And I know you guys have busy schedules, but for you guys to take the time out and do that for me, I really appreciate it. I also want to give a shout out to the guy who was a part of the show that kind of was the trigger for us for Wrestle Talk with Bear and B-Dub. Bear seen as the rivalry show, the Wrestling Roundtable. And that shout out goes to the one and only Jason Artello. I hope I pronounced it right this time, Jason. Jason actually, when there was a little issue, Jason came to me, and he instant messaged me, and we talked about it, and told me what, I told him what was said, and we squashed that, and Jason and I actually talk wrestling a little more often than not, and even other sports. So definitely want to thank you for being a fan and giving me insight and information and ways to improve the show. And for the fans out there who've been with the show since the beginning, I want to give a special shout out to you guys. Now, I know I'm not going to pronounce all your names right. And if I do, thank you. Shout out to me. But like I said, not good with the hyphenetic spelling just yet. A lot of you I haven't even talked to you, hear you even say your name. We even know what your voice sounds like. So with that being said, let me get started. I want to give a shout out to my man Cameron G. Now, Cameron was the man who called me when Macho Man died, and wanted to find out if I knew the news. And when that happened, I really felt like I was a part of the industry. I felt like I was a part of the media. And Cam also writes, so if you haven't got a chance, check out his some of his writings. A lot of them are posted on the Wrestle Talk with Bear and B-Dub page. So make sure you check those out, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to give a shout out to Deji Jr. Oriola. Mr. Oriola always right there giving me, always commenting on every status, always has something positive or something contrary to say. But, that's the thing. What I love about this business is that you're not going to agree on everything, and everybody's not going to agree on something. So it's always fun to hear someone else's opinion, and Mr. Oriola definitely provides us with that every Monday, every Thursday, every Friday. Shout out to my man Manny Adney. I hope I said it right. Manny, thank you. You've been a supporter, and I really appreciate everything that you do. Chris Ely, another one. Great writer, and found out that he has love and passion for the business as much as I do. And he even indicated that he wants to teach this business to young people. So also check out some of his writings. I also want to give a shout out to Ronnie Richards. Ronnie told me that he found the show through YouTube and, therefore joined the page, So really made me feel good, made me realize that me follow us on Facebook and Twitter, I wasn't doing it for nothing. Another shout out goes to my boy, Carlos King James Avid. King James out there, always got something to say. It's very entertaining. Even indicate that he can challenge Bear and in a knowledge contest. Say he's not impressed. That really made me laugh. And not in a bad way. I really want to see how things would be when these two square up. Maybe we can get them two in a square circle of debate. Shout out to my boy. Used to be a former co-worker of mine. That's Brian Kilbelly. Now, I didn't know Brian was a wrestling fan when we worked together. Nonetheless, you learn something new every day. So shout out to Brian. Always, he's been there from the very beginning. Even on the Ustream episode we did for Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, Brian was right there. Shout out to my boy Fred Jones. Freddie is a friend of my cousin, and he my cousin told me about him. Told me he was a big wrestling fan, and Freddie, for him to come out and really display his love and passion for the business. And he really gives me a lot of insight on how things were before I was born. So I really appreciated that, Freddie. We also got none other than Travis Richard. Been a fan from the beginning. Been there, always been able to give him some insight and some, backstage news. So he's been a good source. So really appreciate that. Rob Pentecoff, another one. Always commenting on the status, always commenting on the shows. So I really appreciate your support. And you know what? I also got to give a special shout out to a guy who also was a co-host on the post WrestleMania show. None other than my boy PA on their Facebook fan page. You might see him as Spats Palazzo, my boy Perry. Perry brings so much energy and so much hype in the wrestling. It's not even funny. He makes me see things that I didn't see. Makes me see a lot of comedy in it. So Perry, I definitely want to thank you for supporting the show. I know you're a new supporter, but I really appreciate you hopping on board. But you know what? What is wrestling without females? Nothing. Ever since Miss Elizabeth made a change, in this industry, and you can go back and say Mae Young. It's been very important. So, two special shout outs to two female fans of Wrestle Talk with Bear and BDUB, as well as BDUB Starts. And that's my homegirl, Tia Bertrand, and Candice Kidd. Now, me and Tia watched WrestleMania together, and I realized how much she really loved it and was into this business. So I really appreciate her supporting the show. Candice Kidd, great writer. Everybody, if you haven't checked out none of her blogs, you need to. Promise you'll enjoy it. She has a real good insight on this business, and I really believe she wants to get in the ring one day, and I will be right there to support her. I wouldn't even mind being a manager, So I really appreciate you coming out and supporting this show. And, I also want to give two special shout-outs to two newcomers to Wrestle Talk with Bear and BDUB and BDUB Starts. And that is Sean Williams, who is known as the Shark of Wrestling. He's, if you haven't checked him out, he's also a contributing writer on PW Journal, as well as he has his own blog. Sean really writes a lot of detail, really gives his opinion, and a lot of it makes sense. Now, granted, me and Sean might not agree on everything, but I will say that, I really enjoy reading this stuff. I really appreciate the support. Thank you. And Mr. Jason McDowell. I also want to thank him because without him, he is the editor in chief of PW Journal. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had the chance to write and expand my thoughts out there to the world. So I really want to thank Mr. McDowell for giving me that opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this show is going to only get even better. I really appreciate, we started off in the kitchen in East Baltimore City. West Baltimore, and, I'm really looking to expand this show. I really, I never thought I would be able to get into the locker rooms and wrestlers' houses and, even talk through on Facebook. But I've really learned that a lot of people in this business are really humble. And I really appreciate all the wrestlers, all the fans, and all the people who are growing, the writers, for really giving me the opportunity to connect and make connections in this business. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Continue to enjoy the show. And like I said, we do take requests. So whatever show, Mr. Oriola, I haven't forgot about you. We will get to your show. Like I said, whether it be with Bear or be with another co-host, BDUB will get to a lot of these shows, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for joining this episode. And like I said, continue to support the show. Thank you.